Okay, guys, here's the explanation for BB.8 Solve quadratic equations by factoring. Now, we've already been factoring a lot, so this may seem familiar. And that's why we spend so much time practicing that, because it's a skill that you need to know the steps of and you need to know how to use quickly. Okay, so whenever you see, this format, this is really x squared plus bx plus c, and they're asking you to solve for the variable, they're asking you to factor. So as you remember, the step is to do two parentheses, and excuse the writing, but it's just this pen tool is not very comfortable. You put the variable f and f. You look at factors of 21 that add up to 4, so that would be 7 and 3. And the signs need to be different, and the greater number is negative. Okay. Write each solution to your protection. Simply, if there are multiple solutions, separate them by commas. Okay, they're asking us to separate the answers by comma. Okay, so you've already been doing factoring, so this is not the answer. They're asking you for the solutions. So they're asking you, what does f equal for this whole thing to be equal to 0? So it's almost like these two parentheses are equal to 0. That means f has to be positive 7, so that 7 minus 7 is 0, or f has to equal negative 3, so that negative 3 plus 3 is equal to 0. So then your answer is going to say 7, comma, negative 3, because they're asking you to separate it with commas. This is similar to what you did earlier with these, if you recall, that I just explained in the other video. But instead of giving you two different boxes for your answers, they're asking you to separate them by commas. Same idea. So same idea. And the other thing that they're asking you to do is to get to this point where they look like this with two parentheses. They're asking you to factor first and then put in the answer like this with a comma. Maybe we have time for one more. Okay, I'm going to do this really quick. So once again, just two parentheses. Variable is p. Factors of 12 that add up to 7. Again, it's 3 and 4, because 3 times 4 is 12, but 3 plus 4 is 7. So I'm just going to put 3 and 4. The signs are going to be the same, and they're both negative. So what does p have to be in order for one of these to be 0? Well, in this case, p has to be 3. So that 3 minus 3 is 0, and p has to be 4. So that 4 minus 4 is 0. So my answer is going to be 3 and 4. And I'm going to write it here with a comma. 3 minus, comma 4. I don't know how much time I have left. I don't know if you want another example. Maybe you can go back and replay. But all you're doing is factoring with the method that we learned before, the 3 steps, 2 parentheses, factors of this that add up to this. And then the answer is usually the opposite of the number here. So let's say there's a negative 3 here, the answer is 3. If it's negative 10, the answer is 10. If it's positive 10, the answer is negative 10. It's usually the opposite if there's just a variable on the other side. So just try a few. After you do like 5 or 10 repetitions, it kind of just becomes muscle memory and you know what to do. So that's why repetition and practice is key. And try to think about what you're doing, because you're going to do the same thing on the test. So remember and try to learn what you're doing.